Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We've got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. They always have been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been getting bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is the weekday morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Ethereum ETFs and how they are now going online. You know, it's so interesting. When a technical difficulty happens and it gives you no rhyme or reason as to why it happens, it's very difficult to diagnose because sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. I do apologize. Let's take it from the top. Let's do that. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekday morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the major rally that Bitcoin is going on right now and the reason that that rally seems to be occurring. You see, Ethereum has about 8 ETFs coming online very soon. And according to a recent report, they may be coming online as soon as 6 days from now. Next Tuesday. Several of the Ethereum ETFs have been slated for launch, and we're going to be talking about that today. We're also going to be talking about the major impact that that's been having on the Bitcoin price. Right now, Bitcoin is trading at roughly $65,000, and so I firmly believe that Bitcoin has a strong chance of going into a major uptrend right now, which means that we need to analyze where Bitcoin is going so that we know how we ought to respond to this market. I'm your host, Jeb McAfee. I've been in the cryptocurrency space for almost 7 years. It'll be 7 years in about 2 weeks. Crazy how fast time flies. I've been here for over a quarter of my life. Over half of the history of Bitcoin, I've been analyzing one chart mainly, which is the Bitcoin over USD chart. And so I've built an expertise in that. And I've also learned along the way how you need to manage money to succeed with it. So I'm not only going to show you what's going on in the chart, we're going to look at the technical analysis. I'm also going to show you where Bitcoin goes next and what we need to do to build wealth in this market, which is the reason that you are in this market. So let's do it. If you are new to the stream, I want to go ahead and first of all give you a warm welcome. Welcome to everybody who is here, but especially if you're new. Welcome to the stream. Really excited for you to be here. I promise you I'm going to make your time absolutely I'm going to make the most of your time here and teach you as much as I can and help you to walk away with as much value as possible. If you're new here, I want you to give me a wave in chat. Give me the wave emoji. I want to give you specifically a shout out and say thank you for tuning in. We've got Defla in chat, Cynthia Dizon, Ricky Singh is in chat, Queen Bees, Philly Skills 1428, Sean O'Brien, George Robert, Rolando Lima is in chat, and many others. I really appreciate all of you for tuning in. Defla said, for the Christian, a good podcast is like a Bible study is the Unashamed podcast. Prayers for all. Cool. All right, let's do it. We've got a lot to cover here, but we're going to start right here. SEC gives early okay to Ethereum ETFs. 3 firms set for a Tuesday launch. BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, and VanEck are set to launch their Ethereum ETFs, with Bitwise projecting $15 billion of inflows for these new funds within the first 18 months. I disagree with that. I think it's going to be a lot more. I think Bitwise is being conservative here. $15 billion is what the Bitcoin ETFs saw in inflows in the first 90 or so days. We saw that in the first 3 months on Bitcoin. I think in the next 6 months, you're going to see another $15 billion of inflows on Bitcoin and at least $15 billion of inflows on Ethereum. There's a place that we can look at this. Let me pull this up really quickly here. There is a place that we can kind of track this. It's a FIDAR, I think. FIDAR. Let's see if I can find this. Yeah, Farside. I don't know why I said FIDAR. Farside Investors here. You can see the inflows of the Bitcoin ETFs here. This is a very useful website. Farside.co.uk. If you look up Farside Investors and Bitcoin ETF inflows, you're going to see the amount of inflows. You see every single day's daily inflows. which is a number that I wanted to show you anyway, because in the last 48 hours, on the 15th of July and the 16th of July, we saw $300 million and $422 million of inflows, respectively. That's right. In 3 days, we saw $1 billion of inflows on Bitcoin. 3 days, $1 billion. $300 million on 12th of July, $300 million on 15th of July, which was Monday, $400 million yesterday. God only knows how many inflows we're going to have so far. We have seen $16.5 billion of inflows net since the ETFs launched. That's net. That's inflows and outflows added and subtracted. A total of 15 billion, about 18 billion, 16 billion, I'm sorry, dollars of inflows in the 5-6 months or so that we have been seeing inflows. We hit the $15 billion mark. There is a chart here. I don't know if it's not showing it right now for some reason, but there is a chart where it shows the data. Here, let's see if I can go to this page and it'll show it. Here we go. You can see we hit the $15 billion mark right here of cumulative of inflows on the 5th of June, 2024. Somebody can tell me how long that was. That was about 6 months, about 6 months or so. We saw $15 billion of inflows. I think you're going to see $15 billion of inflows coming into the Ethereum ETFs much sooner than 18 months. I think 6 to 12 months, maybe as soon as 3 months, because there is a huge amount of track record in Bitcoin and Ethereum. They've been around for so long, and now the Bitcoin ETF has been around for 6 months. Oh my goodness, we blinked and it's been here for 6 months. Holy cow. And in that time, we've seen $16.5 billion of net inflows. You can see that number right here. $16.5 billion of total inflows. We've had outflows from Grayscale. Huge amount of outflows from Grayscale. Poor Grayscale. You know, the Son and Shine exited at the top. He got the ETF launched and then dipped and then resigned as CEO. He's like, I'm going to quit while the getting's good. Son and Shine knew exactly what he was doing. He launched it, saw, oh my gosh, everybody's going to VanEck and BlackRock and Fidelity because the fees are way lower. I'm out. I'm deuces. I'm gone. And then and you can see what's happened to Grayscale since then. But there's still $16.5 billion of inflows. So with this approval, we are seeing trading may start next Tuesday. Might start next Tuesday. The final step is for these firms to submit their final documentation to the SEC by the end of the week, according to Reuters. And of course, they're in a big hurry to get it approved because they don't want to get left behind. They don't want everybody else to launch without them because then they would be slow off the start, which means they would probably be behind, honestly, forever because you get this kind of network effect where I'm in the Bitcoin Ethereum ETF, and I'm just going to stay in the Bitcoin Ethereum ETF, or in the BlackRock, the BlackRock Ethereum ETF. That's what I'm just going to stay in that because it launched first. So SEC is probably going to try and launch them all at the same time, but at least 3 of them look like they may be seeing launch coming in just a matter of a few days. And so we're going to have to use that to kind of predict what is the market going to do next. So let's do that. Really appreciate all of you guys for tuning in, and we're going to figure out exactly where Bitcoin is going next. Let's give a big shout out to Kili. I think I got that right. Is that a like a Polynesian name? That's really cool. It's got the apostrophe I, like Hawaii. Kili. It's an awesome name. Shout out to you. Welcome to the stream. Joe Boley's in chat. CMO is in chat. Shout out to you. You got the U.S. Army logo in your profile picture. Love it. Shout out to all of you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the stream. All right, let's get started here. So we kind of know what's going on here with the Ethereum ETFs. They're coming online soon. They'll be going online on NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, and CBOE, Chicago Board Options Exchange. We're going to see them go online in all 3 of these. And so you're going to see an absolutely enormous amount of inflows coming in. This news has had a major impact on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I'm going to start by going down the list and saying, here's what the last 7 days have done. In the last 7 days, Bitcoin is up 13%. In the last 7 days, Ethereum is up 11.34%. Solana has been up 13.53% in that time, and XRP is up 40%. Very excited for anyone who is holding XRP. Cardano is up 18%, which is also very exciting. Dogecoin up 13%. SHIB up 16% in the last week. Chainlink up 11%. Big fan of Chainlink. Near Protocol, also a big fan of Near Protocol. It's one of our investments. Up 33%. We've also got down here Pepe up 29%. ICP up 40% to $10. Whew! Very exciting. Caspa up 6%, Ethereum Classic up 13%, Stellar up 25%, Stacks up 31%, Maker up 27%, etc., etc., etc. Biggest gainers over the last week are WorldCoin up 50%, Arweave up 42%, and XRP up 40%, and ICP up 40%, Helium up 38 or almost 39%. The worst performing asset here is Celestia, which is only down 2%. There's literally only 4 projects that are down, and one of them is a stablecoin. And it's only down because it's trading sideways. So overall, exceptionally bullish time for for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and that leads us to the chart because Bitcoin is in prime territory now for a massive new uptrend to be forming. Massive uptrend is on our horizon here. And I'm really excited to be bringing you this news because we've been talking about the fact that this was going to happen for a while. Need to catch you up on what our predictions have been. Once we got up here, we originally thought we were going to go ahead and try and break 73,000. Obviously, we rejected, and we fell down to the downside. So we were kind of off on that one. We were hoping it was going to break bullish. It didn't. Once it broke bullish, we had a bottom right here. And we said, nope, that bottom's not going to hold. Bitcoin's going to fall lower than that. It's probably going to go down to about $63,000. That was a level that we set based on this bottom right here. And it was set right here. Actually, it was about 64,400. Said, nope, we're not going to hold 66. We're probably going to go down to about 64. From there, once we fell down to that level, it became abundantly clear that we were not going to hold that level either. And I predicted that we'd go down to $60,000, which was constituted by these 2 levels right here and this level right there. After we did not hold $64,000, which we said we wouldn't, and after we did not hold $66,000, which we said we wouldn't, and we fell down to $60,000, and we bounced, and then we bounced a little bit, but there was no confidence. There's no confidence. We did a whole, no confidence, vote of no confidence, right? No confidence in Bitcoin right here. And so I said that Bitcoin would go down to $49,000 to $53,000. Bitcoin dropped down to the top of our price target range to $53,000. Every single drop we called correctly on this market other than the actual beginning of the drop. And at that point, once it started falling to the downside, we told you over and over again, it's not done. And it continued moving here because the trend is your friend until it ends. And we are a principle-based technical analysis, research team. And so we make predictions based on what we see in the data and what we see based off of tried, true, proven principles. When it came down to $53,000, we said, listen, it could drop down to 49 and we should not discount that possibility. But we also very quickly realized that the MACD was converging bullish on itself. We also very quickly realized about a week and a half ago, right around, I remember when we were looking at Crypto Jeb Oscillator, right around here, in fact, it was this day, it was Monday, July the 8th, we saw this uptick. See this little uptick right here on Crypto Jeb Oscillator? Boom. This is where I said, you know what? This is not a very strong rally yet, but it could turn into something. We'll see. It's not proven yet, but we'll see. We're watching. Every day that went by, Bitcoin continued to just kind of trade sideways, and so it looked like a bear flag. Moving into Saturday, Donald Trump there was an attempt on his life. Immediately following that, the attempt was made at 6:11. The world found out about it about 6:30, unless you were watching live television when you saw it happen. And when that occurred, very shortly thereafterwards, sadly that this is what caused a rally, but I'd be not doing my job if I didn't tell you this had something to do with it. Very soon after, when the world found out about it, there was a huge rally. Right? The attempt was made. The assassination attempt was made at 6:11, 6:12, something like that, on Saturday. About 20 minutes later, everybody found out about it. Bitcoin immediately dropped, and then it exploded. And following that line is when we've seen all this bullishness. So this just goes to show you how single moments create history. History is created by trends, but also by moments. We can predict the trends. We cannot predict the moments. We couldn't predict that there was going to be an attempt made on Donald Trump's life. What we could predict is that Bitcoin was moving into a slightly more bullish territory before that occurred. And it's possible, because the ETF was coming up, that we were going to see this happen anyway, even without that attempt being made on his life, which increased the likelihood, the betting odds went up by 7.5%, that he was going to win the presidency, and that he would be beneficial for the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space. So the market responded, interestingly, it responded positively to the fact that Trump was probably going to pull ahead in the polls because of what happened. And so at the same time, MACD crossed bullish. And the Crypto Jeb Oscillator flipped very bullish as well. Crypto Jeb Oscillator has been helping us to predict the market for a very long time now. You can get it by going to luxalgo.com/Jeb. I created it in partnership with Lux Algo, and I may be biased, but I do think it is the best technical indicator in the space if you're trying to figure out what's happening next. Now, there's one final piece of this story that's been happening over the last 24 hours, because you kind of knew everything I just said. Lux Algo had a buy signal come in on Sunday. This buy signal is, as of yet, unconfirmed. But I did say that Bitcoin probably needed to go to about $65,000 before, and if we did that, we would see a green trend catcher. Well, the trend catcher right here is red, as you can see. If we so much as stay here at $65,000, rally just a little bit higher, honestly, probably not more than a few $100s higher, we will be far enough above the trend catcher to pull it up into the green territory, which would be the final confirmation that we need to say, hey, we're strong on the bullish side. We're already kind of in the bullish camp, moving in that direction. I mean, it's obvious, right? Even without trend catcher turning green, it's pretty darn obvious that the bulls are in charge again, right? So I'm, as of today, officially on the camp of the bulls, right? I am on Team Bull. We're on the bulls side now again, right? But the one last thing I'd like to see to have final confirmation would be the green trend catcher from Lux Algo. If that occurs, guys, here's what happens. Bitcoin has already built an enormous inverse head and shoulders pattern, and it's completely just forgotten about building the right shoulder because it's so bullish. This inverse head and shoulders pattern that is just, you know, missing an arm is essentially giving us a price target of about $74,000. If you draw it with an ascending shoulder line, a neckline here, and you extrapolate thusly, just like this, if we were to break it tomorrow, that'd give us a price target up towards $80,000. And so Bitcoin is in prime territory to go into a major rally. And the same thing is true for Ethereum. Ethereum is currently breaking back up above this incredibly important uptrending level of support. It's been defining market structure for the last almost year. And so with Ethereum breaking back up above it and rallying up and hitting its head on $3,500, Ethereum just needs a few hundred more bucks to go before we can really start being extremely confident on it as well. Even if it goes through a short-term corrective movement, you can see the inverse head and shoulders pattern being built right there. And so everything technically right now is looking very bullish on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it gives us confidence that the next couple of weeks to months are going to be very, very good. And so here's what we need to consider. The first thing is, the Ethereum ETFs are going online. This is leading to hype and hopium in the cryptocurrency space that is extremely fickle. It's very fickle. The market is very fickle when it comes to news like this. And so we have to understand that when the Ethereum ETF launches, it's going to be a completely different narrative. It could be a sell the news event. It could be an event that, you know, okay, so we've got the Ethereum ETF online, but it's being a sell the news event because that's what happened with the gold ETF and that's what happened with the Bitcoin ETF. If that occurs, then we need to be considerate of the fact that that could cause a drop. And if you're in a long trade, then you might want to make sure you have a very tight stop loss going into the launch of the Ethereum ETFs. But in the long run, it is still going to lead to a major uptrend. And so how do we respond to this? Like, we've got a bump in the road on the horizon that the Ethereum ETF launches. It could cause this drop. But overall, as I've been telling you for the last, 3 months, last 2 years, the end of 2024 was always going to be very bullish. We made predictions about where Bitcoin would go at the end of 2023. Bitcoin hit both of them, or Bitcoin and Ethereum hit them. You can go back and watch our predictions. They both got like 50,000 views or so on where I predicted that Bitcoin and Ethereum would be at year's end. I think the Ethereum prediction is still here, actually. I still have the chart here. This is the chart I made. I made this chart talking about how there are different phases. There's the pre-halving phase of the bull market. There's the post-halving phase of the bull market. There's the accumulation phase. There's the actual bear market. If you remember, who remembers this chart? This chart right here. With this chart, we predicted that Ethereum would be in this box when we hit the end, right around here, right around the halving. That's what we did. We're in that box. We hit $4,000. We predicted it would hit $4,000 moving into quarter one of 2024. That's what happened. I deleted it since, but there was a chart similar to that on Bitcoin where we predicted that it would be at $50,000 by year's end. Or between, I think it was $35,000 to $50,000 we said by year's end. At year's end, we were at 43. Right, so we were able to do that with technical analysis. We have been also saying that $100,000 was in the cards for the rest of the bull market. Part of the reason for that is because we've got all these different uptrends that we're respecting. Look at this uptrend right here. Take a look at this. Bitcoin's been very carefully respecting this uptrend on the logarithmic chart. If you extrapolate this out by the end of the year, that puts us north of $80,000. If you go out towards the middle part of next year, you're looking at $120,000. Even if you make this trend line more conservative like this, you're still looking at, so long as we hold this uptrend, you're still looking at $100,000 by the end of 2025, which is only a year and a half away. There are major returns coming in Bitcoin, and so I want to, as always, gear you guys in the direction of being prepared for it. I don't understand why, it's so important that we know how to manage this market. And what I want you to do are a few things. First thing, get out of debt, have a budget. So many of you skip that, and I'm sorry. It is my dream in life to figure out how to convince you to not do that. That's one of my passions in life, is how do I convince you not to do this thing of just skipping out on some of the fundamentals. So many of you guys are out here trying to get started in the NFL, and you don't know how to run a mile. You're trying to figure out how to do open heart surgery, and you never went to med school. You've skipped some basics, and I did this, and many of you guys have done that. Many of you guys have done that, where we are currently trying to build wealth in cryptocurrency. We're sitting here doing the technical analysis. We know what's coming next. We've made the predictions. We can trade by them. We're normally right. But guess what? We haven't gone back to basics. We need to go back to basics. Let me hear it in chat. Hashtag back to basics. Back to basics, because we skipped it. You know what happens when you join the military? Where do you go? Basic. You miss a bunch of catches in football. What do? You go back to basics. You tear your rotator cuff because you're doing bench press in the gym. What do? You go back to basics. You go back to your form, and you start there. Some of the most successful basketball players, football players, athletes of all time got there in basketball because they did nothing but practice their free throws. In football, because they threw a ball back and forth for years, and they got really good at throwing and catching it because they went back to basics. They got really good at running. They were in very good shape. They went back to basics. In the movies, you win the game because you pull off some fanciness. You get the free throw. You did the jump tackle. You did the front. You did the somersault. You jumped in the air and did this fancy thing, right? Like it's the game plan or something. In real life, the way you win the game is by having good form. It's by being in good shape. It's by knowing how to throw the ball. It's knowing how to putt on the green. It's about knowing how to run. It's about knowing how to catch. It's about knowing how to dribble. It's about knowing your form. In crypto and in investment, the way you succeed is not by doing this fancy three-point backflip swoosh thing that's going to just blow up on TikTok. No, it's about the form. It's about going back to basics. Because you skipped them, and you're trying to build a house on toothpicks and sand. Well, Jesus says that the house that is built on the solid rock is the one that will stand. Now, he's talking about himself in that case, of course. But it applies in this case, and I understand this is not the original context of what he's saying. I'm not trying to take him out of context, but it is a good way. This is a good way of describing this. If you want to build a solid investment portfolio, you've got to build it on the solid rock of obeying the letter of the law when it comes to the financial laws, the six laws of money. And so here's what I want you to do. If you have not started dollar cost averaging in Bitcoin, do it. Buy Bitcoin on a recurring basis and do that for years. Report back in 5 years and tell me that you're not rich. You will. You'll say, Jeb, wow, I have a lot of money. How'd that happen? Because you did one thing. Because you practice your free throws. That's your free throw. Buying Bitcoin and Ethereum on a daily basis, on a weekly or a bi-weekly or a monthly basis, that's your free throws. Having your budget, that's your cardiovascular strength. That's how you're able to run a mile. Can you run a mile? Your analysis of the market, that's you watching the tape back, saying, man, this is why I dropped the ball. This is why I didn't make that shot. It's because I was doing this. You've got to go back to basics. This is not fancy. And this is why this doesn't get a lot of views sometimes when I say this. And people are like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's so simple. Yeah, but are you doing it? If you're doing it, great. Then I've got other content for you that's a lot more advanced. But most of you, what the majority of you need to hear are the basics. You need to hear the technical analysis. I want you to know where Bitcoin's going next, which is why we do that. That's why I tell you, hey, look, everything's pointing up. I see fields of green. There's a lot of bullishness coming. But are you going to be a part of it? I am still very young. I'm 23 years old. For any of you guys who didn't know that. I'm 23. I'll be 24 next month. I'm still very young, but I'm starting to experience the tinge of regret. And it's something that I have to fight. I look back and I wish that I had to put $100 a week, $100 a month into the market back here. Now, I was flat broke as a joke, as a bloke on the road, guys. I was making $8.25 an hour back here in 17, right? I was 17 years old. You know, I wasn't exactly made of money. I didn't grow up with much, right? But even when this time was here, I accumulated Bitcoin. I accumulated a few Bitcoin, but I wish I'd have accumulated more in here, in this time, you know, down here, all of this time right here. I wish I'd have been accumulating more. Vulnerability. Here's some. I dollar cost average for about this much of this entire market. I was accumulating Bitcoin in other ways. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of Bitcoin from that season, but just through revenue generating activities, right? But actual dollar cost averaging of it didn't do much. I did. And so I acquired Bitcoin and Ethereum right here, and I was very happy about that. I mean, some of my Bitcoin position was acquired right here, and some of my Ethereum position was acquired right about here. Down here. Remember when I said I bought Ethereum at $183? I bought it right here. It was right down here in April. I guess it was April or May of 2020. I dollar cost averaged into it for a couple of months. Not the years of dollar cost averaging like I'm telling you guys to do. Now, like I said, we've got a lot more Bitcoin than that just because, and Ethereum, because I've accumulated it in other ways. You know, people have bought products in Bitcoin. Some sponsors have paid us in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And so there's other ways that we've accumulated cryptocurrency. And so that's where a lot of our portfolio came from. But I wish I could say that I had accumulated more of it by saying, hey, less lifestyle, less overhead, less employees, more Bitcoin. Less lifestyle, less overhead, less employees, more stock market. Less lifestyle, less employees, less overhead, more real estate. I wish I had have invested more back then. And I would have still had an awesome life because I have a good income, right? And I want you guys to do that too. I have the ability now to look back 5 years ago and say, God, I wish I had bought more. I've been here long enough to be the old geezer, you know, wagging his cane at you from the front porch saying to get off his lawn. And while you're getting off my lawn, here's a life lesson for you, sonny. Buy Bitcoin and Ethereum on a consistent basis. I will preach this till I'm blue in the face. Oh, by the way, I am, because people don't do it. People don't do it. They will not buy Bitcoin. They will not buy Ethereum. They won't do it on a consistent schedule. That's the first point. Second point, how do you generate wealth here? It's two things. Number one, you can make a medium-term investment or you can make a trade. I'm encouraging you to do a long-term investment in Bitcoin and Ethereum. At the same time, you can do a medium-term investment, which is what we've done. And so here's another avenue. As I said, we can get much more advanced than this. This is just the basics. For this bull market, we have taken positions that we're going to be selling at the top of this bull market. Some of those positions are in Solana. Some of those positions are in Cardano. Some of those positions are in Polkadot and Chainlink and Near Protocol, Uniswap and Internet Computer. Got a lot of Internet Computer. Some of those positions are in VeChain. VeChain's up 23% in the last 7 days. If you want to double down on and do things on top of the Bitcoin and the Ethereum investment, here's what you do. You buy some of the altcoins after you've done the research on them and after you've looked at the chart. And you say, this is going to be more risky plays because I just simply don't have the same track record with these altcoins that I do with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin and Ethereum right now are the projects that have that long track record. VeChain looks like a stick in the ground. I love VeChain. I think it's a great idea to invest in it, but it doesn't have that proven track record, so naturally you're going out more on a limb. It rallied up to 25 cents. Right now it's at 3. The bull market has already been going on, and so I'm hoping that VeChain will grow a lot, and I think it will, but what we need to see here is we need to see VeChain really take off. And I think it can, but it's not there yet. But it also provides an excellent buying opportunity. Solana. I cannot stand how inflationary Solana is. I still hold a great deal of it because it's got a track record. It's not quite back at all-time high, but by golly, it's getting there. As far as market capitalization is concerned, it has gotten there. So again, I don't like how inflationary Solana is. I still respect the fact that it is growing, and I also respect the fact that it is in a gigantic bull pennant right now, which I suppose we could take a look at here. Right? If we look at Solana here, it's in a huge bull pennant. We hold Solana. It's the third largest position that we have after Bitcoin and Ethereum. Huge bull pennant. You can see we got a lot of analysis up on the chart here, but I'll just go ahead and remove all of my work, and I'll show you. Bull pennant. Boom, we could see it from CoinMarketCap. You know, CoinMarketCap's like looking at a chart from space. You know, on TradingView, we get to kind of zoom in. It's a huge bull pennant. It's probably going to break bullish. Calling it right now. I'm calling it. Just remember I said this. I'm calling it. Solana's going to have a huge breakout in the next, I don't know, month and a half. And it's probably going to rally back up to over $200. So if you want to build wealth in cryptocurrency on top of what I'm saying to do Bitcoin and Ethereum, add Solana to the mix. Add Binance to the mix. Binance is thriving without Changpeng Zhao. CZ did a great job launching Binance. Love CZ. Binance is now starting, along with Solana, to build that up and to the right chart. As soon as it sets a second higher high, then we have a trend that we can invest in. We have a trend. We have a trend of if you buy and you hold it for long enough, you're in profit. We have that with Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is why we buy them for 10 plus years. We don't yet quite have that with Binance and Solana, although it's really close. And so we start considering, do we want to buy them long term? Maybe. Maybe so. Maybe you're going to generate some real returns in them. Not a bad call to have Binance and Solana both for the bull market. I think that they're going to have great returns from here. As far as price targets and as far as the way we exit, I think Binance could go to well over $1,000. You know, maybe start your exiting at $800. That's still a 60 or 70% return, which is awesome. Take out 1% a week. That's our profit-taking strategy. Go from there. Solana, it could go to well over $500. Easy. It's worth $74 billion. If a Solana ETF comes online, which is as quickly as the SEC approved a Bitcoin, an Ethereum ETF after approving the Bitcoin ETF, a Solana ETF could be right around the corner. VanEck has a Solana ETF in application process right now. XRP. I'm not the biggest fan of XRP because it failed to deliver in the last bull market, but to be honest with you, if you remove this massive just God candle here up to $3.36 in January of 2018, then it did actually set a higher high. Right? If you remove the outlier, it did kind of set some higher highs. It did spend some more time trading up here. So XRP is one that might start taking off and giving us that long-term up and to the right formation. So XRP, not a bad pick. It's not my favorite pick, but it's not a bad pick. I don't think you're going to just lose your butt on it. Avalanche. Avalanche is going through a major rally right now. What do you do after you buy Bitcoin and Ethereum? Well, it's simple. You go down the list and you start finding other projects and you start saying, do I think that the risk is worth the reward? If so, buy it. Cardano. Do I think Cardano's the risk is worth the reward, or the reward is worth the risk? Right? It has not really even gotten close to returning back to all-time high. It's kind of being left behind on TVL. I don't know. I'm not putting any more money into Cardano right now. I'm hoping the Cardano I have will perform, but it's got to prove it to me. Those are great picks. You know, Binance, Solana. I just fear for you guys. I fear for a lot of people in crypto that they get into it and they're sold this, they're sold this idea that they have to buy the next big altcoin. Guys, that's okay. You can do that. But I also know people that have built billion-dollar companies, and because they didn't do the basics of long-term investment, when that went upside down, they went broke. And they didn't have anything to fall back on because they didn't have some of their money in risk-off investments like S&P or Bitcoin or Ethereum. They had everything in a company. They had everything in one project. And you can make a lot of money that way, but you also put yourself out there to spend the rest of your life regretting a mistake that you made. And I don't want that for you. So please, make sure if you're investing, be careful. Now, with that in mind, I also want you guys to sign up for NordVPN, because NordVPN is going to keep you guys safe as you browse online. Here's the deal with NordVPN. NordVPN is the #1 in the entire world for virtual private network technology and for security. NordVPN is going to keep you protected by shrouding your IP address so that nobody knows who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. They're also going to let you know if there are any data breaches where your information got leaked. They will tell you with their in the app. In the actual app. And on top of that, you also have the ability to sign up for Incogni, which will scrub the internet to see if your data has been sold to any data brokers. And if so, they will make sure it gets taken down for you so that the entire world doesn't have all of your information, like your social security number, your phone number, your bank account information, your IP address, your email addresses, your passwords. They're going to search the internet to find that stuff, and that's with Incogni. That's a sister company to NordVPN. You can find it on the checkout page at NordVPN. So make sure you check them out. Links down below. They're going to keep you safe, and you should absolutely sign up for this. It's $93.51 for 2 years. $93.51 for 2 years if you use our link. For the normal plan is what I saw last. That should be I believe that's the pricing. I think that's the number you're going to see on checkout. If you don't do that, I really don't maybe you have maybe there's nothing on your computer of value. And so you're like, oh, okay, whatever. I've got nothing on here. You know, I met somebody one time that said, you can steal my identity. It's not worth nothing anyway. Because they're broke, right? So if that's you, okay, I get it. But if you've got anything of value on your computer, you need to protect it. You wouldn't just not put a lock on your house and just wait for somebody to break in. So why would you not put NordVPN on your devices to keep yourself safe? Use the link down below. Stay safe. Don't get hacked. Don't lose all your money. Simple pitch. All right. All right, let's read a little bit of chat. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. All right. That's so funny. Somebody said, I'm 35, kid. Cool. Good for you. All right, let's see. Let's read some chat. My first crypto buy was $200 worth of Bitcoin in 2017. Have been watching Jeb for years. Shout out to you, man. Good to see you. Good job. Why does this dude sound like a telemarketer? I'm telemarketing Bitcoin. Hello, sir. Would you please buy some Bitcoin? Do you get anything out of it? No, I just want you to be rich. This doesn't make sense. No, it's true. I just want you to be rich. That's all. That's literally the whole that's why I'm here. Oh, man. All right. Defla said, hashtag back to basics. Absolutely. Back to basics. I love it. Quinn Daughtery said, still the best, most helpful channel in the space, IMO. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's see. All right. What's the psychology behind selling the news? Why would somebody sell after having good news about an ETF come out? Thanks, Jeb. Wreck Law Mind. Great question. So here is the... Here's my opinion on that. When the news is something that you knew was coming, that's when it's a sell the news event. So we know that the Ethereum ETF is going to be approved. That's already known. It's been stated. And so people are buying in anticipation of the market rallying. When it actually launches, then what happens is all the people that had bought that news say, all right, I made my profit because I jumped in early, and so I'm taking my profits. They say, I predicted that Bitcoin was going to be rallying. Or sorry, that Ethereum was going to rally. I bought it. It did. And you can kind of see that happening on the chart, right? The charts don't lie. When we had our first hint that the Ethereum ETF was going to launch, we just moonshot. And so people bought on this candlestick, which is why the candlestick is there. And so when the Ethereum ETF does launch, it'll probably, it might lead to a rally for a couple of days, but eventually they're going to be in profit. And they're going to say, all right, I sold. A lot of traders are buying when they hear about something and selling once it actually happens. That's how they make their profit. And a lot of people do that, so it creates this trend. It's one of the kind of classical ways that you can trade. It's one of the classic trades you can make. You buy when something comes out that something's going to happen. You see it 2 seconds later, you buy. So long as you get in early before everybody else, you'll end up making some money. And then people sell. The sell the news event on Ethereum this time might not be as bad because we bought the news and a lot of people sold up here, which is why we crashed. So the buy the news and the buy the rumor, sell the news, we may have already actually sold before the news came out because the news was going to happen so far in the future. So it's possible that the Ethereum ETF does not actually cause a drop when it launches, and instead it just rallies because, again, the people that bought the rumor right back over here, they may have sold the news up here because they just immediately made their return. They're like, I don't need to wait any longer. I'm up 25%. I'll sell right now. I'm on 5x levers at 125% return. And so, great. That's wonderful. That might be what happened, right? At that point in time, then it may be a case of saying, all right, then they're not going to sell because they already did. On the other hand, if Ethereum continues to rally here for the next week or so until the ETF launches, then there may be some people that bought down here. ETF launches, they say, I'm going to sell because I'm already in profit. I understand that there is this tendency for the market to crash after the event happens, so I'm going to buy back in lower, and then I'm going to sell higher. And that's what you can do. You can totally trade events like this. People trade politics. People trade world events. People trade geopolitics. People trade ETF launches, and the following. So there are people that bought here. They're going to sell here. Then they're going to buy back in down here after the drop and do the arbitrage, and then they're going to sell higher. You can do that. You need to know what you're doing, or else you're going to get burned. But it is a profitable way to make it. There's profit in it, and a lot of people are going to be doing it, which is why volatility is going to be through the roof when this season of the ETF coming online comes. When we actually see the ETF come online, it's going to be an enormous season for Bitcoin and for Ethereum because the amount of volatility is going to be staggering. So that would be my answer to that. Roll Hendricks said, hi all, let's go. Hello to you as well. Are you a 90s or a 2000s baby? I was born in 2000. Yep. Inflation has to reside before rate cuts. Trump will pump oil and housing and push rates down. Yes, so like you said, inflation does need to come down for the rate cuts. Something that I'm excited about on the horizon is that when the interest rates are cut, it's going to lead to bullishness on the stock market. It always does. That's a very well-known trend. Stock market's already incredibly bullish, so rate cuts will probably just drive the market even higher. I mean, we've rallied this much out of the COVID recovery because of, not because of, but despite the rate cuts. We've had so much onshoring going on in the last 4 years, guys. I cannot stress enough. You've got all kinds of chip manufacturers, Intel, NVIDIA, all of them moving bases over here. You've got all kinds of different manufacturing being automotive manufacturing, consumer electronics manufacturing, all kinds of manufacturing being brought back stateside as the United States shifts its military stance from one of patrolling the world's oceans to ensure globalization, to building out strike group and carrier groups that allow for it to fight wars in two theaters in case they had to fight Russia in the Atlantic and the North Sea and China in the Pacific. So the United States has been retailoring their navy away from the Arleigh Burke class destroyer, which was used to patrol shipping lanes the world over, more so towards putting funding into new advanced fighter aircraft, which obviously are not used for patrol so much as they are used for sitting on a carrier with the capability of waging an all-out war on two fronts. So as the Arleigh Burke class destroyer is being phased out, the Gerald R. Ford aircraft carriers are being built, and a lot of funding is going towards more almost capital ship and support ship kind of architecture with the U.S. Navy. The amount of patrolling that's going on around the world is coming down, and so that creates that causes the insurance rates for maritime shipping to go up. The maritime shipping rates have also gone up dramatically ever since Russia invaded Ukraine, and you're not able to sail into the Black Sea anymore because of that. And so it's becoming much more It's becoming much more difficult. And you also have the imminent doom and collapse of China going on as well. So you've got this deglobalization event going on, and this is all something that Donald Trump himself was a part of. Donald Trump in his presidency was very much pro manufacturing in the United States, very big in the Rust Belt. Biden came into office, kind of took some of his policies because they're really popular. There's a shift going on in the American political system, and it's all being tailored around this not so much protectionism movement, but deglobalization movement. The demographics are shifting the world over, and so the world's changing. And so with all of that in mind, a lot of the world's countries are going to be kind of left behind because they really benefited from globalization. The United States is going to thrive just fine without it. So there's a huge amount of build out going on stateside right now. The response to COVID was absolutely disastrous for the United States. The response to COVID was one of the most bullish things that has ever happened. The recovery coming out of it was one of the most bullish things that's ever happened for the U.S. stock market because there's so much manufacturing coming stateside, so much money flowing into the United States. The United States is coming into a renaissance, and as that occurs, it's causing the United States stock market to just go through this massive meteoric rally, even though interest rates are 5.15%, 5.125%, 5.25%. And so when those rate cuts come and the price of money goes down, market's just going to go even more parabolic. And so with the United States stock market performing well, we know that has a bullish correlation with Bitcoin, which is one of the reasons why geopolitics impacts the price of Bitcoin. It's one of those things I talk about sometimes. People don't really care about, but I don't understand why, because I'm telling you, the way that the world is changing, it's very good for Bitcoin. It is leading to destabilization of a lot of countries. It's also leading to the growth of the U.S. stock market, both of which, not thinking for a second about how they actually affect human beings, although they do, both of those things are bullish for Bitcoin. When you have nations that are being destabilized, that's a horrible thing, but it does lead people to buying Bitcoin because they don't trust their central banks anymore. When you see the United States stock market performing well, that's bullish for Bitcoin because Bitcoin tracks with the U.S. stock market, always has, always will. Because it almost tracks like a tech stock. It really does. It acts a lot like a tech stock. Kevin O'Leary, who we've interviewed twice here on the 3 times actually here on the channel, talks about that. Bitcoin is very much like a tech stock. And so when we look at Bitcoin, when we look at Ethereum, we shouldn't be surprised that they're doing well right now. We shouldn't be surprised that they're going to continue doing well over the course of this decade because the world is shifting in a very pro-American economy, direction. How quickly does the Fed continue cutting rates once they start? Great question. I'm going to answer that, and then we're going to start wrapping it out here because we're a little over time. But so a way that you can look at this is through the EFFR. That's the effective federal funds rate, which is the technical term for the interest rate that the Fed puts out, the effective federal funds rate. You can see once they start cutting rates, they normally slam them to the floor very quickly. That being said, the reason that they've slammed them to the floor very quickly the last 3 times that they have was because a recession was happening. So we don't have a recession on the horizon. So in this case, we're not so much going to be able to follow the trend as we're going to more want to follow what they're predicting. The Fed predicted about 0.5 to 0.75% rate drops over the course of the year of 2024. Obviously, that's not going to happen at this point. We may not even see a rate cut at all. But when we do start seeing rate cuts, it's probably not just going to be slam it to the floor like we did before in the 2001 tech bubble bursting, as we did with the housing market crash, and as we did with the COVID crash. It's probably going to be a more gradual decline, and we might come down and stay at 4 for a while. We might come down and stay at 2.5 for a while, but they're probably going to keep interest rates up because, as I said, the global economy is shifting, and so having interest rates higher allows for them to cut interest rates as kind of a final card against any kind of economic turmoil. They can stimulate the economy by cutting interest rates. So with the economy doing well and them having interest rates high, then what they are saying. They have that as a tool in their pocket. They can cut interest rates to to grow the economy if they need to, is the way that they look at it. All right. Guys, I also want to let you know about Uphold's Vault. If you guys have not already signed up for Vault, then I highly encourage you to do so. The reason why is because if you lose your keys, you have lost your coins, and that would be horrible. I do not want that to happen to you. So when you sign up for Vault, you've got the Uphold key as the backup in case you lose your 2 key or your 1 key. The Uphold key will stand in the place of the key that you lost, and you can still get into your wallet. This is very important if you're trying to protect your cryptocurrency, because if you lose your cryptocurrency, then you lost your investment, and there's absolutely no way of getting it back. Vault by Uphold changes that, so make sure to sign up for them with the link in the description box down below. It's worth your money. All right, let's see. Roll Hendricks asking, did Trump getting a piece of his ear shot off pump the Mike Tyson meme coin, though? That is a, I caught the reference. I will say that. I will caught the reference. All right, guys. I also want to make sure you guys, if you haven't already, go sign up for Crypto.com. Here's why. 100 million users. They accept over 20 fiat currencies. So whatever currency you're working in, it probably is accepted by Crypto.com. And it is the #1 place in the entire world for crypto trading. They've got all the trading you could need. They got the trading interface. They've got the simple trading interface, kind of the simplified version for if you're just trying to do fiat to cryptocurrency transactions. They've also got the full-on exchange, the Crypto.com exchange. And when you sign up for Crypto.com, you're also going to be able to get all kinds of other bonuses, like on-chain staking, and you're going to get all kinds of other rewards over here in the Crypto Earn program. So if you've not signed up for Crypto.com, make sure you check them out with the link in the description box down below. You make a lot of money here. It's a great place to build your home of investment in crypto. All right, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's stream. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're going to wrap it out, but look forward to more content coming out later today, and of course, for many, many years to come. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good